His Lordship the Deputy Chief Justice, His Lordship the Principal Judge, Their Lordships the Retired Deputy Chief Justice and Principal Judge, Their Lordships the Justices of the High Court, of the Supreme Court, and of the Court of Appeal, and all other lawyers. In order to round up this topic, I think it would be good to talk of the constitutional mandate of the judiciary, but also the historical mandate. This is the problem I see in many of the African countries. They do not put their mandate in the historical context. You remember the judiciary is one of the three arms of the state. There are these three words: country, nation, state. I had time to explain this sometime in Ginger. Country is the land where you live. I think it is from Latin. The land before you. Nation are people who are descended from one ancestry. Because that word nation is also, I think, originally from Latin. It must be meaning natis, something like to be born. So nation are people who descend from one ancestry. State is the organized authority over the land. You can therefore have a country without a state. We have a number of them. Somalia is one of them. It's a country called Somalia, but it has no organized state over it. Central African Republic, you can even Uganda was almost becoming a country without a state. So, first we need to grasp that issue of state. What sort of state are we talking about? In the last 600 years, this land here, where we are now, has seen three states. One state were the tribal states, the kingdoms, which were here before the Europeans came. Those were the state. They had their way of doing things. Then we got the colonial state, which subdued those kingdoms and created a new state. That colonial state had a historical mandate, had a mission. they were here to colonize Uganda in the interest of whatever. Now, later on, we have been trying to get what we call a liberation state. Not going back to the tribal states, getting rid of the colonial state, now building a free state. Now, and that state has got the three parts, has got the legislature, has got the executive, and the judiciary. They are independent in roles, but they cannot be independent in historical mission. If you say that these branches of state are independent in terms of the historical mission, then you are off the point. The historical mission must be the same, to build a free Uganda, an independent Uganda. Not to go back to the tribal states because they had failed, that's why they were colonized. Not to go back to the colonial state because that one was a parasite, but to build the free state. Now, recently I was in London, and when I am in some of those fora, I can see that the foreigners are confused about Africa. They see a very rich continent with a lot of water, with a lot of good land, but poor. So they wonder, although they don't tell you, these foreigners who are here, they may not tell you, but they really think there's something wrong with you people. They may not tell you, they may be polite, but behind you can look, you can see in their eyes. They are wondering, how can people be in such a rich land and be poor? So that's why, in addition to the narrow approach of the constitutional mandate, I would really urge you to add the word historical mandate of the whole state. What is the historical state of this historical mandate of this state? In order to get that, I have written, like the speech I gave when I was in London recently, they gave me an honor that I should talk to these big people who are there. Oh, thank you very much. So, and I talked to them, and what I talked to them, I wrote it down. So if that, my staff, Omona, that speech which I gave at lunch, if you can, I have corrected it, if you can print it and give it to their lordships here. The mandate of this state is not a mystery.